What is going on, Legend Riders, and welcome back to Sam's Bikes. And in today's video, we are checking out the brand new firmware update for DJI for the Avinox e-bike motor and system. We've got loads of improvements and refinements, but the major news and improvement is the DJI motor is going 1,000 watts of peak power, unlimited. Let's check it out. And in this video, we're going to check out, obviously, what is new with the firmware, how does it work, and I'll chime in with some of my thoughts. And also, riders, there are timestamps in the timeline if you want to jump forward to any of these sections. And riders, before we crack on with the video, a massive shout out to Schwalbe, the long-term sponsor at Sam's Bikes. Without Schwalbe, Sam's Bikes does not exist, full stop. I absolutely love my Schwalbe tires, and riders, you will see on my Amflow Dream Build right here, I've got the Schwalbe Magic Marys in the gravity casing front and back in the new radial construction. These tires are next level. Riders, if you haven't tried them, I highly recommend them. And first up, and probably why you're all here, the DJI Avinox motor gets a massive power increase, going from 850 watts of peak power to 1,000, which is a massive 17.6% power increase. And that's going to be available in the trail mode, the turbo mode, and the automatic mode. Originally, the 1,000 watts of peak power was only available in the boost mode for 30 seconds, but now it's unlimited. So let's go ahead and tune the trail mode to 1,000 watts of peak power. And any existing Avinox users, just note you're going to have to update to the Avinox Ride app and also update your system. So let's open up the app, and then we go into custom assistant modes, and we go to trail, and then we quite simply go down to max power and take it from 850 to 1,000. So now it's set to 1,000. Let's see how it feels out in the trails. So we're on the bike, we're on a fire road, pretty steep trail, and we're in trail mode with that 1,000 watts. Now I've been riding the bike like this for a few days now. The first thing I noticed is how much extra power you have. It does feel like you have an extra assistant mode. And I see it perfect for the power hour. You know, when we get out on those trails, just smash as many laps as possible. You know, it's probably not going to be perfect for everything because more power, you know, you're going to drain that battery quicker. But for the power hour, the 1,000 watts is epic. So now into the world famous boost mode, which has 120 newtons of torque and 1,000 watts of peak power. So now it's tunable from 10 to 60 seconds. So let's go ahead and show you how to change that. So you go into your custom assistant modes, and then you go all the way over to boost, and you'll see now it can go from 10 to 60 seconds. And let's put it at 10 seconds and go out to the trails, and I'll show you why. So we're out on my trails doing a bit of a techie climb. So why have I set the boost mode to 10 seconds? Well, I've got my turbo, which I'm in right now, at 105 newtons of torque and 1,000 watts of peak. So I only really need it when I see like a section like this, which is a bit nasty and chunky, to go into the boost mode and just slay this part here like that. And then it's off. You know, I don't really need much more than that. And you know, I do ride for like 3 or 4 hours in the mountains, and I do want to conserve my battery. You know, I don't want to be using the boost mode all the time because it is quite addictive. But saying that, riders, as you can see, it's hugely customizable to suit every rider. And next up, a new feature called SmoothShift, where you can actually change gears without pedaling. And riders, just to let you know, this is only available with a SRAM T-Type derailleur because it all works in together. Let me go out and show you how it works. So first up, you need to be coasting. So you need to be moving for SmoothShift to work. And you quite simply, so you can see actually we're in gear 1 now. Quite simply, I'm not pedaling. You just press the changer and you change gears. 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. You know, it is really handy, and some scenarios that it will be really good for. Well, let's say you're racing and you're coming into a corner and you want to select the right gear. So you probably want to change down into a lighter gear so you can pedal out of that corner. And I really love that you can see what gear you're in the display, because it really helps you select the right gear coming in and out of those corners. Really good feature. And then into a new feature called chain protection, which quite simply protects your chain out in the trails when you're changing gears. Now that needs to be turned on manually in the advanced features on the display here. So you quite simply go onto the display, go into the main menu by sliding up, and then we go down to the advanced features, click on that, and then we go all the way down to chain protector here. We turn that on, and we quite simply slide down to get out of the feature. Now the chain protector is on. And what it does is when you're changing gears, it actually drops the power just a little bit to give you a smoother change. Now, I thought you could feel it out in the trails, but you actually can't. Maybe when I'm in gear 12, I can feel it just a little bit. But if it's gonna save my chain, I'm loving that idea. And now to a feature I really like and have wanted on the Avinox system since it's been released, and that is real-time tune. So now you can tune the power of the output of the motor via your remote out on the trails. I love that. So to make this work, we're gonna have to set it up. So what we do is on the display here, we slide up and we go into the main menu. We scroll down to customize controls, hit that, and then you've got two buttons here, obviously. So we've got, if we press it, which I prefer, will be increase power. So we set that, and then the circle button, so the down button, we press it to decrease power. So now it's all set up, and I actually have the app open in the trail setting, and just to show you how it works. So if we go up, it will then go from 6 to 7, and then we'll keep on clicking that. It goes up to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, up to 13. And then if you want to go back down, obviously you click the down button or the circle button, and it will take you all the way back down. So quite simply, now you can go up and down in the power via your remote without opening your app or going into the display. And why is this important, or what scenarios would I be using this in? So for me, I always use a heart rate monitor. And if you're in a group ride and you know the ride's maybe faster or slower than you were hoping for, then you can adjust your power to the speed of that ride. And then when I'm riding on my own, doing a bit of fat burning, I like to be in, so my heart rate between like 130 and 140. So I can regulate my heart here by going up and down in power. I really love this feature. And I also should mention that now you can fully tune all the assistant modes via the remote here, because obviously it's a touchscreen. So what you want to do is you want to slide up into the main menu here, you go into custom assistant modes, click on that, and then let's go into trail, and you have all your sliders here. And also, if you've played around with it a bit too much and you want to do a factory reset, you can do that at the bottom here. Great new feature. And then onto the application, and DJI have made some nice updates here. So first up, going into the custom assistant modes. So now, top right corner, you can edit them. So if you want automatic at the top here, you can have it at the top here. If you want it between trail and turbo, you can put it there. If you want to delete it, you can delete it as well. I think that's a great feature. So also, I'm not sure if this is new, but I really like this. So in the display settings, if we go to add a new page here, we can actually now have up to 9 data fields at one time, which I absolutely love because, right, if you're a fan of the channel, you would know I'm an absolute data freak, and I love seeing it all on one screen. And the last feature I want to talk about is the battery charge limit. So now you can charge your battery to 70%, 80%, 95%, or 100%. And why would you want to do that? Well, let's look at my week of riding. So on the weekdays, I do like a 25K loop in my local area. And I normally come back with about 40 or 50% battery. And so I could be setting this now to 70% limit on my weekly rides. And that is going to be better for my battery. And then on my weekend rides, where I do more like a 40 or a 50K ride, I'll obviously set the charge limit to 100. I like this feature, and I definitely see why they've implemented it. So there you go, riders. That is what is new with the new firmware from DJI. I think they've done a fantastic job. They are just evolving every couple of months with new adds to this already fantastic system. And riders, like always, if you have any questions on the DJI Avinox system, Amflow, or any other e-bike, hit me up in the comments. I love to help, and you know it. Stay safe out there, and we're going to see you soon.